Hi, I'm Chuck Volmer, Senior Concept Artist.
And I'm Joe Spadaford, the other concept artist at Big Idea.
This is the color script for Sheerluck, Holmes and Asparagus of La Mancha. I put this together to help the directors and the other visual development artists put the show together as far as color and mood, and it helps them as they light the different sets for the shows, props and environments.
Actually, a few months before we started production on this show, we were given just a really rough outline of a script, and this was one of the very first images we generated to try to convey the idea of these two competing restaurants for Asparagus of La Mancha. So we also wanted to set it in Spain. It's kind of one of those rare things where Mike saw an image right from the get-go and was like, that's it. The show pretty much got designed off of this really quick concept art that we did in really like a day. Okay, for the Cafe La Mancha, we actually wanted to have just, like I said, a very small kind of quaint place. Also had to have that Spanish kind of feeling to it, so we looked up a few Spanish buildings of the time period. You know, it almost has like an old mission kind of feel to it. The lattice work on the sides and the hanging plants. We also, gave it kind of this almost like adobe look. We wanted to create this show that looked like it took place in Spain, and I think the biggest challenge that I encountered was getting it to not look so much like it took place in like south of the border, Mexico, South America. So took a little bit of research, but I think we got it there. Now, the opposing restaurant was the Food Factory. We tried to style it not only bigger, but designed a little bit more fancy than the Cafe La Mancha, like it was an updated, new, and improved. And we actually researched just more like palaces that we found in Spain for the general architecture of like the pillars and the window treatments, and so we kind of incorporated those high-tech touches to this old architecture and tried to integrate the two together to make what looked like a fast food, not fast food,
but a themed restaurant.
A themed restaurant,
Lots
right?
Of neon and that kind of specialty dining experience.
Right, with great food.
This was an early visual development piece that we did at the very beginning when we received the outlines. As we were developing this, the landscape in his dreams became more and more distorted. Suddenly the cactuses turned into breadsticks, and eventually in the final show, the mesas and mountains and hills in the background became pottery and cooking utensils and pots and pans. And eventually, even instead of clouds, we had eggs in the sky, and anything that kind of go along with the theme of restaurants and cooking that would also have been in his, I guess, subconscious. This is one of the actual paintings that's used in the film, a flat painting that Don is in during his dreams. We just really wanted to go with that kind of surrealist look that you would see in like a Dali painting, and just really make it weird, like a lot of times dreams can be, where they don't make any sense, but things that maybe you were doing the day before are somehow inserted into it. This is the model sheet of the actual Food Factory monster, I guess. The trick was, how do we make him move? Because he is supposed to chase Don and come after him. In designing him, decided to kind of give him almost gorilla-like movement, where he has these tiny little feet and these giant arms, and he kind of puts the arms down and his little feet just kind of swing between them. It was a lot of fun designing this. In the dream sequence, Don is preparing to move forward. He sees silhouetted against the sun-setting sky these fearsome-looking figures. They look as though they could be giants. He realizes it's just a rock formation silhouetted against the sky, and it's just the peas on top causing all the problems. And again, more breadsticks in the background that just, with the right placement, take on the look of spears or weapons of some kind.
And speaking of Salvador Dali, this was our little homage to him during the show when Don's surrounded by all these images that are turning into different versions of himself as other vegetables. The last one we come to is this weird-looking guy with a long mustache. And to be honest with you, the mustache was about that long and about that pointy, so it wasn't much of an exaggeration.
This is a visual development of the interior of the kitchen where Don lives and works. We wanted the nice Spanish-style kitchen with the earthen stove. The fun thing about this set was that he sleeps there at night, so it's his kind of his living quarters. But then during the day, when he hops off the bed, it's kind of like a hide-a-bed. It flips up into the wall, and as it flips up, his potbelly stove flips up from underneath the bed, and this nice, warm, kind of quaint environment that he works in.
And the potbelly stove acts as a great bed warmer at night. Well, I originally designed this, and Chuck colored it. Basically, there's like 5 tables all around, and we knew we wanted these chandeliers. It was one of those delicate balances of trying to not look too southwestern, but getting that real Spain kind of feel, and kept the lighting and the feeling of this place very warm and friendly. Okay, so like Lord of the Beans, we did a lot of flat paintings for this show. Now, flat paintings are ways we use old traditional methods of creating deep space by painting these nice landscapes that kind of, with the color keys, help the lighter set what the lighting situation is going to be for a show. And sometimes, you kind of go, oh, shucks, because you'll see the show and you don't see half these nice little things that you paint. Because we really, in the end, in CG, don't really know exactly what part of the painting they're going to be using. So we actually paint a lot more than you'll actually see. But, again, we looked at a lot of the landscapes in Spain. We just tried to incorporate those kind of hills and villages. And, again, we wanted to create this very quaint feeling, like this was a friendly place to live. This is one of those random props that I had thrown at me at the end of the show where they said, we need a football turkey or a touchdown turkey. And I was just like, what is a touchdown turkey? So, it was kind of a real challenge. How do you make a turkey look like a football? And the only thing I could think of was like, okay, well, I guess we can, there's white gravy that you can, that we could use. So, we just put some white gravy and some mashed potatoes. But actually that touchdown post there is the one from Junior and the Bully.
This is the ice cream parlor that Sheerluck Holmes likes to frequent. We wanted to kind of create a warmth to it so it feels very inviting, but yet the street, as you go further down, it has that kind of foggy London feeling at night. And, it's not supposed to be real scary or anything, but just kind of vintage Sherlock Holmes feel to it. And I think it came out pretty well. This is inside the ice cream parlor, and we wanted to create a serving bar that was kind of centrally located that actually had kind of a stage in the middle so that birthday parties or they can go up there and perform and the entire ice cream parlor can enjoy the show. Again, we wanted to create a really nice, warm, comfortable feeling in there, and that it would be a fun place to go and hang out and meet with a lot of your friends and things like that.
All right, well, here's the next little item. It was a prop. It was the golden ruler. We tried doing it one way, and it looked too much like a regular ruler, and it was kind of a difficult thing to kind of figure out. How do you make it look like a ruler, get a bunch of words on it, make it look like it was really expensive, and yet still make it look like a ruler? Now, I had some rulers in the past that had some rollers and stuff on the back, so I knew that a ruler didn't just have to be a straight square thing. So what we just tried to do is just embellish the bottom and make it have that kind of Victorian feeling, and then at the top, at almost every inch marker, we'd have a diamond.
I had some rulers like that.
Did you have some rulers like that?
Mm-hmm. Diamonds.
He had some diamond rulers, folks. Wow. Well, a lot like the La Mancha set, this particular location looked very, very, very similar in the original Blue Sky concept art, which is the first drawings we actually showed Mike, who is our director. We went right with the original concept art, and it made things go a lot faster.
The palace, we wanted to feel much more majestic, and also to have it contrast with the exterior color palette of London. So whereas London outside is more of a green, blue, kind of a dark, we wanted the palace to really pop, and went with a lot of golds and ochres, and of course real bright reds and purples. Of course, a real royal feeling to it.
Thanks again, guys and gals, for coming and taking a look at our artwork that developed this show. It's always a pleasure, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.